Hachayo Noel, hello everyone, and happy Washa Kibat, the day 8 monkey. Today sets the reinitiation of time in the Turkey, especially for the Quiche Maya tradition, who established 8 bats, 8 monkey as the first day of the calendar. So after Ukupti, the now 7 dogs swallow and release all the emotions, now time is already able to reset. Just like now 8, that is a return, is a new beginning. And now bat, it is the threads of time. It is the interconnections, it's the new actions to be done. So 8 bats talks about the return of order, the return of time, the return of the work or the new interconnections. Now 8 always resets the Trecena, giving a new beginning, but a beginning that is more prepared. That's why in the Quiche Maya tradition, it's way more common seeing people initiating things on the now 8 rather than the now 1. Because according to the Quiche Maya philosophy, the now 1 is only the spring, only raising, without a proper direction to follow. It's still only looking for a path. But the now 8, on the other hand, is a beginning where you know where you are heading to. So you have more experience, you have more knowledge of what you are accumulating. So now 8 talks about this beginning that has more strength, has more wisdom. Remembering, in the Turkey, there is no beginning or end. Everything is a cycle, it's a continuous returning. So whenever I'm saying that the cycle is reinitiating on Washa Kibat, I'm not talking about that this is the first day. This is just a continuous of the time that keep just going and going and spiraling back. And every single Maya community, they have like a cultural agreement with each one what should be the first day. So they arrange that according to their traditions. So there are Maya communities who might begin the cycle on Washa Kiker, 8 deer, or Keb Ik, 2 wind, or as known as well in the Yucatec, the Hun Imosh, or Hun Imish, that is a 1 water. So every time you see that the time is restarting or this is the first now, it's only talking about a cultural agreement. There is no first or last. There is always a continuity, and every time you hear that something starts in a specific day, it doesn't mean that it's a fixed point. But for the Quiche Maya people, my tradition, we do the things on Washa Kibas, which is the return of time. I'm not going to be spending that much time on this video talking about Washa Kibas because I have other videos talking about that. I'm going to be linking that in the cards here somewhere, or in the link in the description, so we can take some time to watch. But what is important to remark about this day is that this day sets when new apprentices start just taking the road and the journey to become an ahir. So they go through the cycle of 9 months of learning, just going to the cornfields, going to follow the ahir, to learn and to inherit the sacred practice, the sacred thoughts, the sacred philosophies, the ceremonies. So they go through all of this path to become an ahir, which is a Maya spiritual guide or a day keeper. And in this cycle, I would like to bring, and just to take this opportunity to share something very fundamental. This is the first things that you learn when you start walking this path, which is the sacred Maya principles. So before diving into the understanding of the Nawals, we need to dive a little bit on the basic Maya principles. I'm going to be going through that like in a very quick way, so this video doesn't get very extensive. But I would like to share something that you can use a lot, something that you need to practice a lot and incorporate a lot before even diving into the Maya calendar. So without further ado, let's just start with the sacred Maya principles. I may not list everything on this one, but maybe I'll just keep the core principles to start incorporating, start understanding how the Maya worldview works. So we can start by talking about the first one, that is, everything is alive. So at the heart of the Maya understanding, like, lies that everything has life. Not only us humans or animals, plants, but everything. Like the cup you drink from, the chair like I'm sitting on, the thoughts flowing through your mind, even spaces between things, they all got uh, a way of thinking. It's a practical recognition of how energy and consciousness flow through all our existence. So this is the first principle, is to acknowledge that everything has life. The second principle, I'm not gonna mean is it doesn't have an order, but I'm gonna be talking about like in the order as is coming to my mind. The second principle will be that everything has its own way of thinking. So each element exists in its own consciousness, in its own way of processing reality. Like mountains think in a geological time. A river thinks through constant flow and adaptation. A tree could think as through cycles of growth and rest. Even within our own bodies, each organ has its own wisdom. Your heart knows things your mind doesn't comprehend. Your bones carry memories your thoughts cannot access. So everything has its proper way of thinking. Everything has its own way of existing in the universe. So this is a very fundamental principle that is taught when we start this road of becoming an ahir. Next principle, everything has a mother, a father, or a feminine principle and a masculine principle that gives birth or ignition into something. These are also mentioned a lot here in the channel. I'll probably mention that in some other videos. But this principle expressed the idea that everything comes from the interaction of two forces, or we call like heart of the sky and earth. And we see this everywhere in nature, like the rain falls from the sky, meets the earth, creating new life. Even ideas need both inspiration and nurturing to grow into something real. So everything in Maya derives from this basic principle that everything has a mother and a father. Just like in the humans, this is very straightforward. The sperm, the ovulum, and then the baby. So, but everything can come from this idea. Even when they talk about business, every single thing can be also fitting in this principle. So this is very important, because to understand Nawals, the numeral Nawals and the nominal Nawals, we need to understand this marriage, this interaction with what are like the masculine forces and the feminine forces in that. Another one would be that everything is a vessel. Like physical forms are vessels that contain and channel different types of consciousness. Your body, my body, like a tree, a stone, each is a container for various forms of awareness that may operate independently of the vessel itself. So this helps us to understand how consciousness can flow through different forms while maintaining its essential nature. This is, for example, we are a vessel for our Nawals. Remember when I was talking in the previous video about the Chobor, that is understanding how many different elements compose a single Nawal to give meaning to each other, so we can arrive to understand a particular Nawal. So the same thing that happens with us, we are a vessel for these Nawals. Next principle, everything has this horizontal relationship in the Maya thought. Unlike the religions that talks about like the hierarchical views that place some forms of existence from others, for example, oh, God's in there in the sky just watching above us, so he's carries like a higher hierarchy that even impose fear or like a devotion. So the Mayas do not think in this way. For the Mayas, they all see this relationship between things all horizontally. There is no higher or lower. just different forms of consciousness interacting and giving meaning to each other. Even what we might call divine forces that exist in a horizontal relationship with all aspects of creation. So think about like that. Whenever I'm talking to a person, like a friend, like the person makes sense to me while I'm talking. My friend will make sense to me while I'm talking. For example, my altar, my lamp, my guitar, the things that you see here in this room, they all make sense. They give atmosphere to my frame. So they all play different elements that give extra communication. So the Nawals, they aren't like higher or lower than us. Everything works and start giving meaning to each other at the same time. This is the web of interconnectivity that the Mayas talk a lot. So this, for example, whenever a friend, like I'm listening to a friend, I also help making sense to him, to his shape, to his existence. So there is no need of higher forces telling what to do, coordinating things. So everything gives meaning and purpose to each other at the same time. The next principle is the dynamic balance. Balance isn't just reaching a static state. It's an active and ongoing process, like a dancer maintaining equilibrium while in motion. True balance requires constant adjustment and response. This applies to everything from ecosystems to personal well-being. We are not seeking to achieve balance, but to dance with it. So while many philosophies, they treat balance as the ultimate goal or just to clear something that they believe that come before or whatever, the Mayas do not think like that. Balance is not the ultimate goal in the Maya thought, but it's all about dynamic. You go into balance so you can go back to experience life's dynamic over again. Then the next principle, which is, I should have mentioned that earlier, that everything belongs to a system. Nothing exists in isolation. For example, let's take, your morning coffee. Depends on countless interconnected elements. From the soil that nourished the coffee plants, to the water cycle that brought the rain, to the people who harvest the coffee or roasted the beans. So we are all part of this vast and interconnected systems. So in the Maya calendar, to understand, we need to understand the systems, within systems that goes in many forms, that we can apply that. So everything is part of a system. Even mentioning like the cycles of the Chorkir, they all belong to a different system, to a bigger system. I think, for today, for not overloading you with information, I think I will stop for here. There are some other things, because even though everything looks like very basic and very simple, this takes some time for you to really incorporate into your daily life. So what I recommend is that before diving too deep into the understanding of the Nawals, entering to the astrological format, if you want to give like a step forward in your path in the Maya calendar, I highly suggest you to start incorporating these basic principles that I listed here. I kind of lost the count, so I'll probably will be numbering them while I edit this video. And one thing that before I close the video, I would like you to do some exercise. For example, next time when you are walking outside, try seeing the world through these principles. Like try noticing like how the wind communicates with the trees, how the soil thinks about nurturing the seeds, how everything around you is part of this dance of life. Like try to understand like what gives like this understanding of your frame, as I mentioned in one of the principles. You might be surprised at how simple, like this simple shift in perspective can enrich your daily experience and especially your relationship in following the Turkey. So that's it for today. I just wanted to wish you all a happy Washa Kibbutz. I'm very constant now with my newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, I always talk about different subjects over there. And you can go to my website, mayathekeeper.me, and subscribe in any tab that you see there. If you're interested to go on a consultation and talk to me more in person about the Maya calendar, I offer some sections over there. And so I hope you all have a beautiful day, a great restarting of the cycle with this 8th monkey. And that's it. So I'll see you all on my next video. Kamawani malach kin kamawach.